Baby doll, when bells ring out the summer breeze. Oh, baby doll, will it end for you and me? We'll sing old alma mater and think of things that used to be.
I lived on Durland, the Prentice lived down on 4th, and we kind of congregated at the Y. And then later on, we got to know each other really well when I started playing football at Douglas.
I met Prentice as a musician. He was a drummer in Douglas Junior High School band, and I was the drummer. He was an 8th grader, and I was a 7th grader, and that's when we first met.
Douglas High School, we basically played predominantly all African-American schools. And it may or may not be commonly known, but we were, quote, a powerhouse back in those days.
I humbly say this and express this. We had such a good football program at Oklahoma City Douglas. We had to go across the country to play other African-American schools.
We had actually won 46 games in a row.
A come to Jesus meeting, I think, if you would want to say it. We were playing against the white guys.
That was a tough loss, but it showed us in a competitive environment what we had to work toward to remain competitive and to remain state champions for the years to come.
The Metaphor Association, which was a medical group of doctors, African-American doctors here in Oklahoma City, thought enough of Prentice's talent and his scholarly talent that they offered and paid for his scholarship the first semester, and then OU officials and the alumni of OU deemed it necessary that they did have an excellent Oklahoman who was an excellent student and an excellent athlete. He just happened to be a person of color, and the rest is history.
Prentice Gautt was 1 year behind me, and he was a great guy. Prentice off room down on the other end of Jeff's house, but he was down at our end a lot. Fun, cut up, great guy. As far as any parent or any coach would want a person to be a good student, a good person, and to practice hard and not break the rules. You'd want your children to be just like Prentice Gautt. He majored in biology. I said the rest of us couldn't spell biology, and it was about the truth. I told Coach Switzer one day, I said, you know, Prentice was good, but he wasn't a Billy Sims or Joe Washington or Greg Pruitt. And Perry said, you're just naming the three of the greatest running backs in the history of football. Prentice was really good.
Prentice kind of paved the way for me because he experienced some things that I didn't have to experience. Prentice is the epitome of what you call a true student athlete. Student first, athlete next.
We had a chance early in the decade of the 2000s to rename our academic center. There was only one person whose name would be fitting, you know, of an academic center and a place where student athletes could improve their own skills and to think about what's best for their long-term livelihood, and that was Dr. Prentice Gautt.
As I look back, I'm beginning to see the fact that it was extremely significant. You take a look at the teams back in 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. You saw only 2 black faces in those pictures. Take a look at the roster down at Oklahoma and other Division I athletes across the nation. It has a great impact all across the country, not just here in Oklahoma.
We always talk about character and how it's revealed. Prentice Gautt personified character, and he didn't go around telling people about it. Hey, look at my character. Just the way he carried himself. And Prentice Gautt always treated everyone with respect, and consequently, anyone who ever met, let alone got to know Prentice, always held him in high regard.
It's all about motivation, it's all about intestinal fortitude, it's about drive, and he had all those qualities, and I think he exhibited that through life.
I guess I won't say football was his life, but he had a true dedication to football, and he was able to go out and speak and talk to student athletes.
And I think perhaps the place where he left one of his greatest legacies was the welfare of student athletes, not just on Oklahoma's campus or Missouri's campus or any of the campuses that he might have visited, but he was involved in that role on behalf of the entire NCAA. I was visiting with Prentice about just a few days before he unexpectedly passed away. And he was just his typical self, wanting to know more about what was going on in my life, and I was trying to find out how he was and what was going on in his life. He was serving, the Big 12 Conference as a senior associate commissioner at that time, and we were visiting at the Big 12 basketball tournament in Kansas City, and just seemed to be his jovial self. And so my last memory of being with Prentice will always be a positive one, and just another reminder about how he was more interested in the people he was with than he ever wanted them to be in him.
1956, I went to the University of Oklahoma. I went to get an education. I wound up to play football